Sexual intelligence. Sexual health is the appropriate satisfaction of sexual needs and desires. It is an integral part of a person's overall psychosocial health, mental health, or quality of life. Sexual health is based on several interlinked aspects of human sexuality and deals with the relevant biological, psychological, cultural, and social factors such as cognitive processes, sexual needs, sexual desires, sexual behaviors, reproduction, pleasure, romance, subjective perceptions and expectations, relational factors, and sociocultural motivators for sexual behaviors. Sexual health is defined and explained through sexual satisfaction, which refers to the affective response arising from one's evaluation of his or her sexual relationship, including the perception that one's sexual needs are being met, fulfilling one's own and one's partner's expectations, and a positive evaluation of the overall sexual relationship. Sexual health can also be understood and explained through sexual wellness, the healthy aspects of sexual health, and sexual illness, the unhealthy aspects of sexual health. Sexual wellness refers to the adequacy of sexual desires, sexual attitudes, sexual functioning, sexual frequency, quality of sexual activities, orgasmic consistency, communication, expression of affection, satisfaction of subjective sexual expectations, and preventing sexual dissatisfaction. Sexual illness involves sexual frustration and sexual dysfunctions. Sexual frustration is the distress caused by prolonged sexual inactivity or unsatisfied sexual pleasure. Sexual frustration may lead to biological tension, aggression, violence, enhanced criminal tendencies, relational dissatisfaction, low self-esteem, poor psychological well-being, and poor quality of life. The release of sexual frustration, on the other hand, improves physical and psychological health. Sexual dysfunctions, as described by the Diagnostic and Statistical Manual of Mental Disorders, are any disruptions or difficulties in the sexual response cycle which relate to alterations in the psychophysiological functioning and sexual desires of men and women. Erectile disorder, male hypoactive sexual desire disorder, premature ejaculation, and delayed ejaculation are the sexual dysfunctions of men included in the DSM-5. The sexual dysfunctions of women in the DSM-5 include female orgasmic disorder, female sexual interest arousal disorder, and genitopelvic pain penetration disorder. Sexual intelligence is comparatively a new phenomenon within the domain of human intelligence. The term, sexual intelligence, was first used by Conrad and Milburn 2001, who proposed three components of sexual intelligence, namely sexual knowledge, awareness of the secret sexual self, and sexual communication. They, however, did not develop a scale to measure sexual intelligence. Verk 2012 afterwards defined sexual intelligence as the ability to perceive one's own and others' sexual expression and messages, to understand them and other sexuality-related concepts, and to use the information to guide and manage one's sexual behavior. She typified sexual intelligence into three categories, namely sexual perception, sexual knowledge, and sexual management. She also did not develop a scale to measure sexual intelligence. Intelligence and its measurement are a widely studied topic in psychology. Intelligence is not a single ability. It involves a composition of several abilities and capacities. Intelligence has been defined as an ability to understand the world appropriately, to reason, plan, solve problems, think abstractly, comprehend complex ideas, learn quickly, learn from experience, perform tests or tasks, to divert behaviors towards goals, and to perform a procedure to produce a product. It is also considered a capacity to classify, comprehend, discuss, abstract, act purposefully, think rationally, and deal effectively with the environment. It is an ability comprising of verbal comprehension, reasoning, perceptual speed, numerical ability, word fluency, associative memory, and spatial visualization. Intelligence is a product of both heredity and environment. Scientists have been labeling and typifying intelligence differently. Intelligence has been typified into three categories, namely analytical, creative, and practical intelligence. Another theory proposed three different aspects of intelligence, namely content, that is, visual, auditory, symbolic, semantic, and behavioral cognitive processing, that is, cognition, memory retention, memory recording, divergent production, convergent production and evaluation, and the outcomes from that processing, that is, units, classes, relations, systems, transformations and implications. Multiple intelligence is another label under which intelligence is typified into 8 categories, namely linguistic, logical, spatial, musical, motor ability, interpersonal, intrapersonal, and naturalistic intelligence. Emotional intelligence, that is, individual differences in the capacity to process data about feelings and emotions, is another classification of intelligence. Intelligence has also been typified into fluid intelligence and crystallized intelligence. Fluid intelligence refers to think abstractly by involving the information processing capabilities through memory. Crystallized intelligence is defined as the accumulation of new information through experiences and application of that information in solving a problematic situation. A series of 4 consecutive studies was carried out recently by Dr. Sukoon. The objective of these studies was to link sexual health with sexual intelligence by developing and validating a statistically reliable tool for measuring sexual intelligence. Intelligence is mainly based on the knowledge which further reflects through behavior. Sexual health is mainly based on sexual knowledge which further reflects through sexual behavior. Adequate knowledge would produce adequate behavior. Dr. Sukoon proposed that knowledge and behavior can summarize intelligence, and sexual knowledge and sexual behavior can summarize sexual health. He developed and validated a scale which intended to measure sexual intelligence, that is, sexual knowledge and sexual behavior, which would further reflect upon sexual health. Adequate sexual intelligence would reflect sexual wellness and inadequate sexual intelligence would reflect sexual illness. Study 1 of the series of 4 consecutive studies involved the development and initial validation of the scale. The scale was further validated in Study 2 and the construct of sexual intelligence was observed together with emotional and social intelligence. Study 3 correlated sexual intelligence with life satisfaction and sexual health. Study 4 correlated sexual intelligence with sexual fantasies, porn consumption, and social media consumption. All the 4 studies were combined afterwards to produce the results. Dr. Sukoon defined sexual intelligence as the ability to perceive, understand, and respond to sexual needs and desires in a personal and social context. He involved 959 participants in the series of the aforesaid studies. These included 509 men and 450 women. Sexual Intelligence Scale (SIS) was developed and validated in these studies. SIS intends to measure sexual intelligence in adolescents and adults. SIS is developed in English and comprises of 8 items. The response sheet involves a 7-point Likert scale ranging from strongly disagree to strongly agree. It has 2 sub-scales labeled as sexual knowledge and sexual behavior. SIS was tested for 4 times and has been found reliable and valid. The Psychosocial Intelligence Scale of Silvera 2001, the Trait Emotional Intelligence Questionnaire of Petrides 2007, Satisfaction with Life Scale of Diener 1985, the Sexual Health Sub-Scale of Psychosocial Health Evaluator of Dr. Sukoon 2021, and the Sex Fantasy Questionnaire of Wilson 1988 were also administered in Study 2, 3, and 4. The studies revealed a significantly higher level of sexual intelligence in men as compared to women. Men also had significantly higher levels of sexual knowledge and sexual behavior. Age had a significant positive correlation with sexual intelligence, sexual knowledge, and sexual behavior. Education had no significant correlation with sexual intelligence, sexual knowledge, and sexual behavior. Emotional intelligence had a significant positive correlation with sexual intelligence, sexual knowledge, and sexual behavior. Social intelligence had a significant positive correlation with sexual intelligence and sexual knowledge. Sexual health had a significant positive correlation with sexual intelligence, sexual knowledge, and sexual behavior. Satisfaction with life had a significant positive correlation with sexual intelligence, sexual knowledge, and sexual behavior. Sexual intelligence had significant positive correlations with sexual fantasies, porn consumption and social media consumption. Sexual intelligence is a new phenomenon and a new addition in the aspects of general intelligence. Sexual intelligence has not been worked upon satisfactorily. The existing literature reported only 2 studies that intended to define and explain sexual intelligence. The first study was conducted by Conrad and Milburn, 2001, which proposed 3 components of sexual intelligence, namely sexual knowledge, awareness of the secret sexual self, and sexual communication. The second study was carried out by Verk 2012, also proposed 3 components, namely sexual perception, sexual knowledge, and sexual management. Sexual knowledge is a common term used in both studies. Sexual perception and awareness of the secret sexual self are similar in nature. Sexual management proposed by Verk has enhanced the behavioral aspects of dealing with sexuality, and it covers sexual communication as well. Dr. Sukoon proposed 2 factors involved in sexual intelligence, namely sexual knowledge and sexual behavior. He developed a scale to measure the aforesaid factors of sexual intelligence. The scale was titled as Sexual Intelligence Scale (SIS) and consisted of 8 items in English. The scale was found reliable and valid through exploratory and confirmatory factor analysis conducted repeatedly. Dr. Sukoon defined sexual intelligence as the ability to perceive, understand and respond to sexual needs and desires in a personal and social context. Sexual intelligence was measured comprehensively by measuring sexual knowledge and sexual behavior. Apart from the development and validation of SIS, Dr. Sukoon revealed some novel findings related to sexual intelligence. His studies declared men to be more sexually intelligent as compared to women. The earlier literature also reveals that men have significantly greater sex drive. Men desire sex more than women, consume more pornography as compared to women, and are more likely to have extramarital sexual activities than women. Women usually see sexuality in the context of an emotional, and their sexual preferences are less constant than men due to cultural, social, and situational pressures. Women have also been more prone toward mental disorders and have been regarded less expressive to report their psychosocial concerns. The studies by Dr. Sukoon also revealed significant positive correlations of age with sexual intelligence. Significantly positive correlations have also been established earlier between age and emotional intelligence. Dr. Sukoon found significant positive correlation of sexual intelligence with emotional and social intelligence. The earlier studies have not sufficiently focused on finding correlations between different types of intelligence, especially for sexual intelligence, which is the newest phenomenon. Some researchers who believed in the multiple intelligence theory have suggested strong interactions between different types of intelligence. Dr. Sukoon also found a significantly positive correlation between sexual intelligence and sexual health. The findings of his studies propose that sexual health and sexual intelligence are significantly interlinked. Sexual intelligence, therefore, is proposed as the basis for sexual health and life satisfaction. Thanks for listening. To read the entire paper, kindly visit www.drsukoon.info.